Well, let's bring in our first guest tonight, then, US Senator Jack Reed, who is the top Democrat on the Armed Services Committee. Good to see you. So are these attacks necessary, in your view, to keep America safe from narco-terrorists, to use Mr. Trump's terminology?
Well, narco-terrorism is his term, but there's been no substantiation of the legal basis for these lethal attacks. Also, when we just captured two of these so-called legal or narco-terrorists, they were returned to their home countries. I think if they were truly narco-terrorists, they would have been arrested by our forces and processed through our legal system. So we are not getting the kind of information we need to justify these operations. In our system, Congress has the sole authority to declare war. The president can't step in and assume that we are at war with different groups. So this is very questionable, and it's also questionable from a national security standpoint. This is a very expensive operation, and it's not in response to a true military threat to the United States.
Well, indeed, expensive it is, because as well as the airstrikes, an unprecedented number of warships have been deployed, along with spy planes, fighter jets, bombers, drones, US Marines off the coast of Venezuela. I mean, what is the intent here? How concerned are you that deployment could lead to active engagement?
Well, there's a possibility of active engagement. Once again, though, I would hope that the president would recognize that Congress is the authority to declare war and authorize a significant engagement of American military forces. I think a lot of this was the Trump administration trying to create the impression of being able to destroy the drug trade throughout the hemisphere. Ironically, the majority of drugs coming into the United States come through Mexico, not Venezuela. And so this is really, I think, a solution in search of a problem. It's not a military solution. It should be law enforcement. We have, through many, many decades, intercepted vessels carrying drugs, done it through the rules of international engagement, and where appropriate, arrested the occupants of the boats, and where not so, return them to their home countries. But this is, I think, more of a demonstration for the benefit of his base than it is a true national security crisis.
Well, is it that, or is it an effort to unseat the president of Venezuela?
Well, he is talking about that. And certainly Maduro has been someone who has defied the democratic norms of Venezuela, who's not treated his countrymen justly and fairly. But the United States it should not be in the business of changing governments by military force. We've seen over the last several decades our attempts to do so in Iraq and other places. And ironically, it's turned out to be a long, drawn-out affair in which we might win a quick conventional victory. But then the question is, what do you do when you win? And usually it ends up to be a very expensive, very frustrating, and very controversial ending.
You say law enforcement should be deployed if this is a fight against drugs, but it is actually the military at the moment. We know the commander of Southcom has stepped back, resigned, concerned about the legality of this and wanting to go more cautiously than Pete Hegseth. I don't know if you've spoken to military commanders as part of your committee role. Are they concerned about this action, which, firmly one might argue falls outside due process?
Well, we have a military that is sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And this sometimes gets to be a very difficult choice, because they are also uniformed officers who are in the chain of command, and the president is the commander-in-chief. There are, I think, elements within the military who are asking very serious questions about the legality of these efforts, not only for their own benefit, but to protect the troops that they lead, because they could be subject to some type of criminal charges if these are, in fact, violations of law. But I think what they're trying to do more than anything else is to make the case that these military operations are not the best way to achieve the goals of the administration, if the goals are, as they state, to stop the transmission of drugs from places like Venezuela and Colombia. But there is, I think, a growing sense that unless there's a further justification, and more particularly, unless there is a presentation to Congress and approval by Congress of these activities, we're getting deeper and deeper into an area that is possibly and likely extrajudicial, and that's not where they want to be.
Senator Jack Reed, much appreciate your time there, ranking member of the Armed Services Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much.